Hey, you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to make this specific bench here. Well, you came to the right video. I'm going to show you how I made this from step 1 to step like 1,000, I don't know. I bought 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood. One side is finished, the other side is unfinished because we're going to paint it. You don't need to have finished plywood. I just had 2 on hand, so don't get stuck on that. You can get regular plywood, 3/4 inch plywood from HomeDepot or Lowe's. You can see here that I'm using my Craig jig with a circular saw. I think this Craig jig was like 30 bucks. It's not easy to put a whole sheet of plywood on top of a contractor saw or a table saw, so this thing is pretty clutch. And so these 3 pieces that you cut are going to be the top, a little shelf, and the bottom of this bar. Now you can move on to the second sheet, get rid of my little foamy sacrificial thingamajigger, and lay down my track saw because the Craig jig does not cut that wide, because I'm going to cut a 48 by 37. So this will become your biggest cut, and it will be the face of your bar. Now the other parts of the spreadsheet, I'm going to cut the spreadsheet. Wow, I should be working right now, I guess. The other parts are going to be 20 by 37. You're going to cut 2 of those, which ends up being the sides of the bar. Now the reason why I cut at 37 is because I'm going to cut it down to the exact width that this needs to be on the table saw. Whenever cutting large sheets with like a Craig jig or a track saw, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. That way you can take it over to the table saw and get the exact cut that you want. This is what I'm doing here, trimming it off to the exact measurement that I need. Alright, we now have the sides, the top, the shelf, and the bottom piece, and now your face. With some of that leftover plywood, I'm going to cut down some strips. These strips are 1 inch. And I'll show you why I'm going to cut down a whole bunch of these later on. Man, I'm fast, huh? Along with the 2 sheets of plywood, I bought some poplar lumber. Now this is completely optional. You can use plywood. But I'm using this poplar for the top trim and the bottom trim. The bottom trim is going to be painted. I put some double-sided tape on the wheels. These wheels are from Harbor Freight. Flipped it over because I want to show you that I'm going to cut 45s on that bottom trim, the bottom poplar, and wrap it around just like so. And it's not going to be touching the ground. It's going to be a little bit above the ground. That way you can roll around the bar without, I guess, grinding the bottom. This video is starting to look like it's sponsored by Craig jig, but I got my pocket hole jig here. And I'm going to put some holes at the very bottom of that bottom piece. I don't know if you want to watch me do all this, but I put it on the sides, the front, and didn't put any in the back because we're not going to attach anything. So here's how I attached. Laid a bead of glue, push it up to the side, made sure that it was nice and square. Then I came in, hit those holes with the pocket holes. Hit those holes with the back. What? I put pocket hole screws in there. Laid some glue on that miter. Folded up the front. Did the same. Normally, cool YouTubers put music here to fill that empty space, but the copyright stuff, yeah, I'm not down for that. You officially have your bottom piece. Look at that. Well, you still got some more to do. Take those strips that I told you to cut and cut it down to size, because you're going to use one as a sample, as kind of a spacer to show 3/4 inch plywood go in. And you'll see that I'm going to clamp this down to make sure that it's in the right position, because these are going to be like braces, little spacers when you slide in the front sheet. Now let's give a little test. Put a 3/4 inch scrap in there. Slide it to the left. Look at that. Alright, it's now time to do it for the sides as well, because you're going to use those plywood sheets that we cut previously for the sides. Quick test. Good to go. It's now time to take that top piece. We're going to repeat the same thing we just did, but with the top piece and the smaller poplar. Man, that's a beauty. Put those pocket holes in there. Again, I know you probably don't want to watch me do this, so I just did a little bit of fast motion. And now that you have your pocket holes, take that poplar and you're going to wrap it around just like you did the bottom piece. There's like a little bit of a close-up on that 45 and how you're going to cut that. Don't ask me why I put that sound effect in there. It just sounded like if Santa Claus had a perfect miter. It sounds like the sound effect he would put. Your top piece is now done. You're going to give it a nice sand, and then we'll put a finish on it later. Just like the bottom piece, we're going to go ahead and put those strips in on the top piece, and you're done. So this is the first time I've ever built this cart, so this is me praying that it actually works. This is raw data here, folks. First try. It was nice and snug at the top. Just make sure you hammer it in. All right. Looking good. Now we just need to make a shelf, put some wheels on it, and we can get started with making it pretty. The wheels didn't come with screws, so I just went ahead and spent $5 at Home Depot to get some. Alright, it's time to put some spacers here. These spacers are going to hold that middle shelf. Now take 2 of your strips. Now if you want more shelves, go ahead and just add more strips. But for now, we're going to do 1. After you finish one side, make sure you just repeat that same process at the same measurement on the other one. Woohoo! We are done. Now, you're done if you don't want to do anything else to it and you want to leave it raw. But it's time to make this thing look pretty on the outside. So stay tuned if you want to watch that. The first thing I'm going to do is put a round over on my router and get those edges. Take care of those edges. This is the top of the bar. And look at that. When you round it over, it's that much easier. When people are walking up to your bar, they're not cutting their arms and stuff. And I'm going to throw some polyurethane on the top of it. I love this polyurethane because it dries fast. Actually, really good protection. You can get it at Home Depot. Now, after that, I'm going to lay my face down and then get some 1/4" MDF. I cut some strips here because I'm gonna, make it look nice. I made this right angle to slide on the side to cover that plywood edge and also the front. See here, I'm kind of making a border that goes around the edge, but leaving the space there because that space is going to slide into the little crevices that we created. Alrighty, it is now time to do it one more time. And there you have it, folks. You have an official mobile cart for your coffee bar, for your, your wedding event, whatever you want to do. You officially have it. You're ready to go. You can take it apart, put it in the back of the truck, or you can just leave it up. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you must have liked it, so just hit that thumbs up and we should be good to go.